Okay, so that's kind of an overall approach to this scene. Let's say we wanted to then work on kind of a more of a look to the scene, right? So whatever that might be. So I'll put that in a separate layer. Layer 6, I don't know, let's say we want to add a bunch of contrast. Let's maybe saturate and I don't know, overall cool off the frame a touch. Looks is done after this sort of what I would say normalization of the footage. So the result of the look is applied in the same way. If you do all that look stuff upstream, you may get some continuity matching there. So layer 6, I don't know, let's say we want to saturate the cyans and the yellows. Let's call that a beautiful thing, right? When you first get involved in the project, it can be in various degrees. It could be in pre-production, it could be lots of time and get involved in camera test and makeup and wardrobe, and you're very early on integrated into the process with the DP in terms of developing the look of the show in tandem. And that's rewarding, that's great. There's other times when you get involved in the show at the very end, and so you haven't had the opportunity to kind of establish that language until maybe a phone call or even day one of color. That happens too. I don't sort of pre-build stacks or node trees. I know some colors do. I tend to not do that. Personal preference, no real reason why per se, but so I tend to keep all my simple grades, my straightforward primary grades, usually layers 1 through 5, and then the look stuff could be 6 through 10, and then maybe windows can maybe be in that zone too. We don't have a lot of time to experiment during the sessions. That's why I think some of the prep work is critical. So if I do have time before we start grading a new feature or episodic, I'll try to spend that time at least a day unsupervised just to kind of get a feel for the footage, the style of the photography. If it's DP or a director or someone I haven't worked with, is I'll just do a little homework. I'll look at some of their past work, try to get an idea of what their likes and dislikes are. Maybe I'll also obviously look at the idea of the show that we're working on, if there's some background information about the show, if there's a specific time era, if there's a specific era of the show in terms of trying to come to the table with ideas in terms of palette, contrast level that might be appropriate. Is it a modern day film? Is it set in the future? Is it set in the 40s? These things are all a factor, and I think it's important to kind of bring something to the table to those first sessions. Maybe we pull just a straightforward highlight key. We can do that here. It's preset for highs on base light. So I'll just go to a hue angle, preset highlights, and then we'll just change our threshold a little bit to maybe just grab a little bit of that. We'll add a touch of defocus to that key, just to kind of spread out that key boundary a little bit. Go back to our image result, and let's say in lift gamma gain, we'll just lift the low end. So yeah, kind of reducing the contrast by lifting the blacks within that highlight key. And that's kind of a very sort of typical kind of gauzy look. That effect there. Maybe we'll spread that key a little bit more, a touch more defocus. We don't often go back to a script, for example, but there has been certain circumstances where you're able to actually read a script, so you're involved that early on in the process. But I think it is vitally important to understand the story of the show that you're grading. Typically, I'll grade without sound, but when I approach a new scene, I'll usually play through the scene with sound, just to get an idea of what the tone of the scene is before I dive into grading it. Sometimes I like to kind of push things over the cliff so you know where the edge is, So it's a part of the experimentation is maybe going a little too far. If we wanted to as well, we can even push a little more highlight into that, right? And we get a nice sort of soft highlight bloomy, warm kind of vibe there, right? One of the best experiences can be when the DP has a very clear idea what they're going for. And once you know you can achieve that, is, well, do you have anything else? Like, can we maybe plus this? This is great. We've hit our target. We're going where we want to go, but is there anything else? To kind of leave that door open for the collaborative process. Those are great experiences. There's definitely times when everybody in the room knows where things need to go, and there's an efficiency and a sort of directness about those kinds of sessions where your skills are called into action to be able to, get to where the show needs to go quickly. There's other times when the room's not sure where it needs to go, and then that's when you use a different skill set and apply that experience that you have to help get them where they want to go. Amazing, right? Let's say that that's what we want to do, right? So those are in layers 7 and 6 in this case. And we want to, say, propagate that through the scene. So since we've already gone through and got a suitable match to that, we don't need to copy all that stuff. We just copy that grid. And simply just do it shot by shot or as a sequence. Drop that on everything. Now we got something, right? It's a great thing when everyone in the room is agreeing. It does happen when sometimes everyone in the room isn't agreeing. It could be a difficult spot. And like I said, I think our role is to kind of help bring the room together, present different options. And then, if we do feel like there is a better solution to a problem, then I think it's our responsibility to try to guide clients into that space. There is also times, depending on the personalities in the room, that you have to sort of allow them to get to that point because you're also dealing with sometimes very strong personalities and very successful filmmakers, and they've gotten there for a good reason. So our role is sometimes to get them to that point in a way that makes them comfortable. But ultimately, we're the steward of their film. And so if they want to go someplace, you can put up guardrails, but we need to kind of let them express their film. So if all the balancing work has been done upstream, the look will be applied consistently across all the footage. Now you may have some flare differences or some color temperature shifts within the frame. Then you can decide if you want to address those or not. But that's sort of my approach to using node or layer structures for look application.